You might have asked yourself before, who watches The Watchmen? The answer is Peter Cannon Thunderbolt. Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Graphic Content. I'm your host Ted Kendrick, and today we're going to be talking about Dynamite Entertainment's series Peter Cannon Thunderbolt. This is a new ongoing series. I think it's ongoing. I couldn't find how many issues it's going for if it's a mini-series, so let's go with ongoing. That's written by Kieran Gillen, who is known for The Wicked and the Divine with Image and the Darth Vader series from Marvel and the spin-off Dr. Aphra. Kieran is an awesome writer. I had the pleasure of meeting him recently at Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle, and he's joined by the artist, Casper Wingard. Art here is amazing. This series reinvents the character of Peter Cannon Thunderbolt for a modern audience. Peter Cannon originally premiered in Charlton Comics, but he was based off Golden Age hero called the Daredevil, who had like a really similar costume that was half blue, half red, sort of split on his chest. So Peter Cannon was published alongside other familiar characters like Blue Beetle, Captain Atom, and The Question. All these characters would go on to inspire Alan Moore's The Watchmen comic. Peter Cannon, in particular, inspired Ozymandias. This series actually reinvents the characters even further. So even though we go back to Peter Cannon, because it's a public domain character utilized by Dynamite Entertainment, they can't use the Blue Beetle or the Question or characters like that are still owned by DC Comics. So they actually reinvented these characters into totally new identities. Some of them include Nucleon, who is the Dr. Manhattan type, the Test, who is a crazy green-haired Joker looking guy with these cannons on his arms, but he's supposed to be their Rorschach because of the Rorschach test. Justice Supreme, who's a very patriotic hero, who's supposed to be their comedian, peacemaker type. Baba Yaga, who is their equivalent of Nightshade, and then Pyrophorus is their Blue Beetle type. He's a bit of a fire-powered bug-looking guy, so Blue Beetle there, but he's also got sort of an Iron Man type suit, and there are a few panels where it even looks like Tony Stark's head inside the helmet. So these characters kind of inspired by so many different aspects of superhero comics and pop culture, but in particular, The Watchmen. And there's so many references to The Watchmen littered all over this book. For instance, the Test is sitting at their superhero round table. He's a chaotic character who stuffed his mouth full of raspberries and just vomits them all over the table. So there's a page where the table for a second looks like the yellow button from The Watchmen with the little red splash there. There's a moment later, let me rewind a little bit. The main plot here is that their world gets invaded by an alien armada, really similar to the events of Watchmen, completely devastates the country, and these heroes are kind of left to evaluate what just happened and figure out the best way forward. So they learn that these events were manipulated by Peter Cannon Thunderbolt, but not the one on their world, but an evil one from the Multiverse. And so he's going around to all different parallel worlds and sending this alien armada there to destroy everything. This version of Peter Cannon figures that out, and so he's got his team together. They're on a mission to find this evil Peter and stop him once and for all. Peter figures out how to travel through the multiverse, and it's a really interesting gimmick. Takes a piece of chalk and he draws a rectangle on the floor, on the wall, wherever, and he'll lay it flat against it, and it acts as a 9-panel grid, just like a comic book. So when he goes into his box, he becomes part of the comic and ends up being able to travel parallel worlds through this structure. It's a really amazing gimmick that's used here in the book. Eventually they make their way to the evil Peter Cannon's world, and he's living in Antarctica in this sort of ice palace, just like the end of Watchmen, and he's got all these monitors, just like the end of Watchmen. And when they go there, the evil Peter ends up taking the entire team down one by one. They kill everybody. Nucleon, who's just like Dr. Manhattan, can kind of see into the future, and he knows, okay, I'm going to be the last one to die. The Test is blown up just like Rorschach, his guts splattered on the wall, and there's so many other little things like that around the series. There's a line in issue 4, Peter ends up escaping to this black and white world where there are no superheroes or anything, but it's the equivalent of the Watchmen characters, people named Eddie, who's a washed up stand-up comedian. Lauren is the bartender at this place called The Clock, talking to a doctor who's a therapist, not Dr. Manhattan, giving Peter some advice. There's also Danny talking about his work at the night shift, just like Night Owl. So there's all these little allusions there, and Dr. Manhattan, as part of the therapy, tells Peter, I'm not stuck in here with you, you're not stuck in here with me, we're stuck stuck in this together. So there's all these little lines of dialogue and all sorts of little Watchmen hints here and there. This group of people hanging out at the bar in this world without superheroes call themselves the Clock Crowd. So just like the Watchmen. That issue in particular ends with the Space Armada appearing in the sky again. The evil Peter found them, and it's just world by world. The evil Peter Cannon is destroying it with his alien armada, and our Peter Cannon has to figure out how to stop him. I'm gonna check if I've got any more notes here. No, it's my stomach. I guess that's basically it. The series is only 4 issues so far, at least in the taping of this video. I'll definitely be reading more. I can't wait. I really hope that it's not just a limited series and it goes on a little longer. But I love all the Watchmen references in here. I didn't expect it to cut this deep and be such an engaging read. Between the multiverse hopping effects, all the Watchmen Easter eggs and everything, this has been an awesome read, and I can't recommend it enough. Dynamite Entertainment's doing some cool stuff. Peter Cannon Thunderbolt is one of those things right now. So if you're a fan of Kieran Gillen's writing, he's also doing the book Die with Image Comics. Check this out. It should be collected in the trade pretty soon. Fan of Watchmen, this one's definitely for you too. If you're reading Doomsday Clock, this is a really good sort of ancillary book to that as well, and it might get you hyped for the upcoming HBO Watchmen series too. So thanks for watching. This has been Graphic Content, and I will see you again in 2 weeks. Bye.